Welcome to chapter 7. In this chapter, we are finally learning to be a bit more negative about things because we are learning how to negate. If you know Finnish, you will already know this basic principle. Mari, as many other Uralic languages, uses a negation verb, which is to say you have a verb, an auxiliary verb of sorts that has a defect paradigm. So you don't have all forms of a paradigm. You don't have an infinitive, for example. And it is what you inflect to say, like that you have the not part is the part that has the personal endings. And here you see the present tense endings. So that might be surprising if you're coming from Finnish present tense present tense forms. Yes, we also have past tense forms, for example. We'll get to those when we get to the past tense. So, and you use these forms of the negation verb in combination with the so-called co-negative form. And the co-negative form is exactly the same like the imperative second person singular, which we discussed in detail last week. So have a look at that again about the formation if you are curious. So, and then we practice this. Can we negate all these things that we have already learned to say affirmatively in the present tense? We also have a look at the negation of to be. So I am not a doctor, etc. Important, this is just copular negation. When you say I am not a doctor, this is not existential negation that's formed by different patterns. So you say, if you want to say there is no hope or so, you have to do that by other ways. So you have forms like omal, otal, own forms that are like I am not, you are not, or the such. These are meldings of previously regular forms ul. First person singular negation, ul, the co-negative form of to be. You just have to get used to that these are melded forms in Maris that are used as have own, that are combined words. We also look at ogel as a negation particle. Ogel is used, so that's literally is not. But it is also used as a so-called constituent negation if you want to negate any other element. It's kind of like a Swiss Army knife negator. If you want to ask, like, who's going to do it? And you're going to say, not me. Ogel is what you use there. My ogel. Or if you want to say that, when is this going to happen? And I'm going to say, oh, not on Sunday. So on Sunday would be Rushanyan. How do you negate Rushanyan on Sunday? But with ogel. Rushanyan ogel. Or when is this going to happen? Not today, Tache ogel. And a very nice example of usage of ogel is the famous line from Hamlet, to be or not to be. When translated into Mari, and parts of Hamlet have been translated into Mari. I don't think the whole play has been, but elements. That's in liash ale liash ogel. Liash to be or to become, ale or liash ogel not to be. Okay, we're meeting a new case here too, the commutative case. One thing that is important to note when you hear commutative, especially if you're used to Estonian, where you have this very widely used commutative case, the commutative in Mari has a fairly specific usage. It is not the normal way of saying with. The commutative is used when you want to say including the whole, with the whole family, with all of the children, with all of the books. The normal way of saying with is dene. We're going to look at that in this chapter too. So commutative is only if you want to stress like the complete inclusion of something. And as such, it is comparatively rare in its usage. And when in doubt, don't use it, but you should know it in any case. And actually syntactically, commutative marked elements can be used pretty widely. So nuno yechedene munchatashkayat. Here it's like an adjunct. They're going with the whole family. They're going skiing. Knigage ruchkage zum kashchilapestem. I put the books, the pens, everything into the bag. So with the books, with the pens, I put it in the everything in the bag. Here it's like an object. Commutative marked terms can be objects, or tache izige kuguge teatrischkayat, today small and big, like and small and big, all of them, the totality of all the small and big people are going to the theater. Here it's the grammatical subject. And as a function of this, there are actually linguists who deny the status of this suffix as a case marker, because, well, case prototypically is supposed to mark the syntactic distribution of a noun phrase, and commutative marked forms can syntactically do whatever they want. So yeah, it's a controversy to be aware of. Yeah, we're looking at which case suffixes are used in which temporal expressions, and here it depends on what kind of temporal expressions do we have. We use accusative forms for seasons, like in spring or such, and for some times of the day, for noon and night, we use accusative forms. But for morning and evening, we actually use the with forms. Dene literally goes back to dene, with the morning. We use instructive forms that look exactly like the genitive for the days of the week. Schochmo Monday, Schochman on Monday. And here I'm giving in the long form video the explanations of what the days of the week that we're meeting for the first time here, what they actually are, in case this helps you remember them. Inessive forms. So we use these with the months, for example, in January, etc. Instructive or inessive, when do both go? Like if for keche I anja, day, year, week, both work. You can say tide kechen on this day, tide kecheste on this day. Dative works with, we discussed that last week, temporal limits or intervals and such. Words and word usage, what have we got? We have another look at this additive particle at, and also neither we have already met it, but as time goes by, we should become more acquainted with the range of functions of it. We look at the adjective lyman, which is lym, name, with this derivation suffix an, having, so namey, having a name, and how this word lyman is often used in combination with titles of something, like how you can have Salika lyman piese, the play called Salika, it's literally the Salika named play. So it's fairly straightforward to understand. It's just good to be aware that the Maoris, they do this quite a bit. We look at Möngeste, at home. Möngeste and Möngeste, both meaning home, but Möngeste is at home and Möngeste is home movement towards. Ooh, that arrow is pointing in the wrong direction. I'm gonna have to fix that. Kayash, to go. In this chapter text, we see how the word kayash, to go, can also be to play, like a play is playing or is being played, a movie is in the cinema or whatnot. So I promised that we're going to have a look at dene, with. Dene, with, critically, is used both to indicate the co-participant, the person with whom you do something, and the instrument that you use to do something. This is, if you're coming from English or German, this is not surprising. It's with, or German mit, that's how they are used. But a lot of languages, especially towards when you leave sort of standard average European, the European zone of language convergence, distinguish between these two things, like Russian or Finnish distinguish between these two things. But Mari does not. So here, this is one aspect where Mari actually behaves a lot more European than some of its neighbors. So if you're saying, for example, I'm going to the theater with my sister, or with Echan, let's say, Echan dene teatrisch kayem, I'm going with Echan, or if I'm saying that I'm going to the theater with my helicopter, I'd say vertoljot dene teatrisch kayem, I'm going with the helicopter. No distinction made. So in the text, we get to hear and read what the COPIUS do on a nice Sunday, which is going skiing and going to the theater. And then we've got some exercises. You can watch us work our way through some of the exercises. The song of the week this week is Ech nu kaltasa. I'm diversifying the songs a bit. This is a more traditional folk song, specifically an Eastern Mari folk song, and it is oftentimes the melody to which the so-called kandera dance, the rope dance, is danced among the Maoris. You can see a kandera being danced in the YouTube video that we're linking to. See you next week.